The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. 54 years ago to the day, May 8, 1970, when Willis Reed walked down the tunnel playing a Game 7 against the Lakers. Jalen Brunson hurts his foot in the first half, misses the entire second quarter, but comes back to score 24 in the second half, 14 in the fourth quarter. Donte DiVincenzo, another huge game with 29 points, and the Knicks prevail again. 130-121 over the Pacers. They now lead the series 2-0. Great to have you with us from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn and Wally Zerbiak. OG Anunoby also hurt himself. The Knicks say it was a hamstring injury late in the third quarter. They basically have 6 players. They haven't won a championship, but they surely, Alan, continually show that they have the heart of a champion.
Exactly. I was thinking of Rudy Tomjanovich. Exactly what you're saying there. These guys are champions. They won in college championships, so they know what it takes to win, and it is incredibly inspiring to just see how they never let go, never quit. And when Jalen Brunson came back out for the half, I was in the building while we were in the building. I was walking around the concourse talking to a lot of fans, and there was great concern. It was all asking, how is he? How is he? Is he coming back? And nobody knew. The roar of the crowd when he walked back out at halftime, it kind of gave you this feeling of the Knicks cannot possibly lose this game. He wasn't going to let him, and neither were his teammates.
No, I agree. It was an outstanding performance. That crowd was stunned when he was out of the game for that whole second quarter. But him getting back in that lineup, I think the Pacers were expecting to just walk through this series. They were like, wow, Jalen Brunson might be out. We were going to have a chance to win this series easily. But at the same time, he came back, and now they got to deal with Jalen.
All right, guys, Josh Hart now joins us from across the street from the Lexus Gameside studio. Another 48 minutes for Josh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Damn, he did?
All right, so, Josh, you got Jalen Brunson getting hurt in the second quarter. You got OG Anunoby getting hurt late in the third quarter. You're playing all these minutes. All you guys are playing all these minutes. How do you keep winning these games?
Just a resilient group, man. It starts with, the front office, and then it goes to Tibbs, and then it goes to JB and the rest of us, Jew. This next man up mentality, man. So, obviously, we wish we were healthy. But when one guy goes down, man, someone else steps up, and we got more than what we need.
Josh, take us into the locker room at halftime. What was the mood like, and did you have a conversation with Jalen? Did you know he was going to be coming back in this game? Because the whole building was wondering, would he return?
Didn't know. And when I saw him on the court, I told him just to be smart. But, I mean, that's just who he is. He's going to battle. If he can walk, he's going to get out there with us. So, and, we were talking on at halftime, it was just about our defense. We scored 63 points, I think it was 73-63. Our offense wasn't the problem. It was our defense, and I think we did a better job second half. And now we got to go into a hostile environment in Indiana and, get better.
Josh, you've been making huge shots all season, playoffs, this game, and now Donte DiVincenzo also just making the big shot all the time. How do you guys pull it off and do it?
Just confidence. I think that's the biggest thing. We work hard. We put our work in. I think that confidence that we have, I'm not going to say never wavers, but when it slightly wavers, we all pick each other up. And Tay is someone that we rely on, that we need, and I trust him with the ball in his hands whenever.
Josh, I keep telling these guys the key is Mike and Ike's. The heck with the plant-based diet. It's a Mike and Ike's. Josh, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, and good luck Friday when the series shifts to Indiana.
Thank you.
Boy, he has been remarkable. 48 minutes in each of the last two games. First Knicks player with consecutive 48-minute regulation playoff games. First NBA player since Jimmy Butler back in 2013. And it is what he adds, Wally, intangibly. Yeah, the numbers, he's scoring a lot more than we anticipated in the playoffs, but it's a rebounding night after night and the ability to grab the loose ball.
Oh, he's so dominant. He really is. And he's guarding 4 different positions out there. That's the most effective part of his game, the fact that Tibbs can't pull him off the floor because he can guard so many different spots and so many different people. And that confidence that he alluded to, That comes from the coaching staff believes in all these guys. The franchise believes in all these guys. And when you're in that big moment and you're pulling up for that shot and you know that everyone thinks that thing's going in and knows it's going in, that's when it goes in. And it's great to see the confidence that this whole entire team is playing with, Josh leading the way.
And Alan, Jalen Brunson, 3:32 to go in quarter number 1, comes out with a foot injury, misses the entire second quarter, and the Knicks, up 8 at that point, ended up being down 10 at the half, and we're thinking they're in deep trouble after this injury. But Brunson came back for the second half and was fantastic.
Yeah, and here's where it happened. Watch the left leg there. He just kicks the leg, and then he just started to limp. I was right there on the court. He was waving to come off. And then he's trying to tell everybody, calm down, as he came up for warm-ups. And then look at the hits he's taking. You know he's hurt. Personifies toughness. There's nothing more you can say about him. Never mind the tough shots he makes, the touch he has, the work he puts in. Look at this three as he knocks this thing down with confidence. Look at the garden roll, the touch that he has on his home rims. But you just can't say enough about the toughness aspect, how many hits he takes, and he keeps on coming. Yeah, every now and then he's got to flex. He's got to talk to the crowd to keep himself fired up. But the kind of pain that he must have been in to take himself out of the game, walk off the floor, and stay out for an entire quarter. But as Josh Hart said, if he can walk, he's going to play. And that's literally what he showed us. And when you have that kind of a leader, a guy that's going to come out and say, I'll give you whatever I've got. It's a playoff game. I'm not sitting out. It inspires everybody. And in that third quarter, that's what it felt like. The building was inspired, but so were his teammates. And the whole game turned around. I think, Wally, just because of his presence on the court.
Oh, the Indiana Pacers were shook, completely shook, because they dominated the second quarter when Jalen Brunson was not in the game. They got whatever they wanted. Their offense was in high gear. We talked about how this team, when they're a little bit of front runners. When things are going good, it's going really, really good for the Pacers. And then once Jalen Brunson came back into that game, you could see the Pacers completely were like, oh boy. We got to deal with that guy again. Mm-hmm. And they don't have an answer for Jalen Brunson so far in this series. And as a result, it just lifted the energy level and the confidence of everyone on the Knicks team.
You could feel it, like the build, like everything just.
And you could also see the Pacers just be like, oh no.
You know, Clyde always tells
that
the story.
Was the big mind thing, because the Pacers all of a sudden they're thinking, wow, Jalen Brunson's hurt. You know, he can't play in this game. We're just going to roll through this game. But then all of a sudden it's like, wait, is he hurt? Is he hurt? Is he not hurt? Just like everyone was wondering. And there it is. And, you know,
he reaches right away.
There was so much speculation, foot, you know, ankle, what was it?
It was a right foot. They said right foot.
Right foot, but you see what is he grabbing for. So, but, you know, Clyde always tells the story of, obviously the anniversary is today of that Game 7, the historic moment, 1970, how when Willis walked out on the floor, he said, we knew we had the game by the looks in the eyes of the Laker players when they saw Willis. Like, obviously, these aren't the exact same situations. We're not trying to say that. But the inspiration part of it is definitely there. The building's reaction, which is the same thing that Clyde always tells the story of that game. When he comes out on the floor, there's that same reaction as well. Playing in the Garden is special. Playing in the Garden when the crowd roars like that takes you to a whole other level. And it wasn't just Brunson who played great in that third quarter. They doubled up the Pacers in scoring. But you just saw DiVincenzo, you saw Hartenstein, you saw, Josh Hart, the whole game was playing hard.
28 points.
And before he got hurt.
And we haven't mentioned that
yet.
Nick,
you know, career high.
He was
Nick
playing
uniform.
great.
He was outstanding. And when Brunson went out, it was almost like the other guys were like, we got to elevate our games. Yep. And that caught the Pacers a little bit, you know, by surprise, because they're so focused on Brunson, and Jalen at the beginning of the third quarter was dishing the rock to all the other guys, and they got themselves into a really good rhythm.
So the Knicks were down by 10 at the half. Brunson comes back for the second half. Wally, the Knicks go up by 8 after 3, and then Brunson scores 14 points in the fourth quarter. And this was a little bit less tense in the final handful of minutes.
Well, the Knicks were getting stops, too. And, you know, I don't know why T.J. McConnell wasn't on the floor for the fourth quarter. There's Jalen Brunson knocking down that shot. So the Knicks are only up 5 at this point. Ryan Nembhard's played a really good first 2 games. That's a big shot. Cut the lead to 2 at that point. Nice play as Josh Hart finds Hartenstein back to 4, and Dante's shooting has just been ridiculous, Alan. I mean, he's been great.
The 6 3-pointers that he hit in this one, that's 3 straight games of 5 or more, and they see the play there. Precious Achiuwa playing big minutes in OG Anunoby's absence. He had to be out there playing the 4 spot. Halliburton got it going. He didn't get a lot of offense going in the second half, and a lot of that had to do with DiVincenzo's defense. But the three ball for him has been fantastic. And, of course, the finisher, the closer, enter Sandman, Jalen Brunson. That was a big shot there that gave the Knicks the breathing room they needed for what was another cathartic win.
Rebounding important. Knicks winning the battle 44-34 on the offensive boards. Knicks with 12, and 5 of those came in the fourth quarter. We mentioned, Wally touched on OG Anunoby, and I mentioned briefly his Knicks high, 28 points. And then he goes out late in the third quarter with what the Knicks are calling a left hamstring injury. And who knows about his status going forward, because unlike Brunson, he was unable to come back.
Yeah, and this was a possession where it was a steal. The building was just fired up. The Knicks were running the break, and he was trying to outrun Obi Toppin. And as he was going, it looked like he just, grabbed that hamstring, couldn't get up. Hopefully it's some kind of, listen, I'm not a doctor, but hopefully it's mixed in with a cramp and not a full strain or something, a spasm or something like that. But, OG Anunoby is a very strong dude, really, really tightly wound. He is ripped. So hopefully his body can compensate for an injury like that. But as we all know, hamstrings can be a problem. But the Knicks have a great training staff, great doctor staff, and hopefully they can figure it out, and it's not as bad as it could be.
How much more can one team take?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously, how hard they play.
To this team.
He was great in the first half of this game. He had off to a great start. The Knicks had a great start, up 11 early, mainly based on him, not as much Jalen Brunson. He took it almost like he took this matchup personally, like this is going to be my game. I'm putting my imprint on this game from the start. I'm not going to let this game come to me. That's the OG Anunoby that the Knicks love to see when he's that aggressive, and it makes you feel like this is what you trade for. Great defense, but a guy that can score. He knocked down 4 3-pointers, made some big ones, and his defense on Siakam once again was important. Remember, this series is game off, game off. There's no 2-day breaks between this, so the rest part of this is going to be tough. They hope to get him back, if not by the next game, at some point in this series.
And we mentioned first words in the pregame show, Mitchell Robinson's done for the year. So you got no Robinson, you got no Bogdanovich, and who knows?
Fourth front court player.
Right, who knows about OG Anunoby going forward. All right, we're still awaiting the postgame comments from Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks head coach. But up next, the perspective from Monica McNutt. Knicks now up 2-0 on the Pacers, another amazing win.